It's been so long since I posted anything on this channel, but I'm ready to go. If you guys have missed out or don't know what the heck is going on or why I've been away for so long, please go ahead and check out my fiance and I's vlog channel. I'll have it linked down below like I normally do, and I'll put it right across here so you guys can subscribe. We've been doing so much lately. As you can see, I'm in a new location. I don't know if this location is permanent or what the deal is, but this is just kind of a corner of my living room where I have some bookshelves. And I bought a house, so this is my house. We're gonna start right off the bat with doing something totally normal for this channel, and that's a book review. It's been a long time since I've done anything bookish or talked really bookish at all, and I'm so excited to be back in the game. I started reading again recently, and it kind of took me a while to get back into it, as most reading slumps do. It just kind of took forever. One of the first books I read to get me out of my little slump was a quick read that I got for $1 from the Dollar General, which was Andrew's Brain by E.L. Doctorow. Now apparently this author is pretty well known. As I was preparing for this video and the blog post that I'm writing to correspond with it, I realized that he had apparently some good books that a lot of people know, and people kind of loved this author. And truthfully, I've never heard of him before. I've never heard of this book. I just got it because it was $1. Some other books that he's popularly known for are books like Ragtime, The Mart, The Book of Danyell, and Billy Bathgate, which are all books I've never heard of before, but his GOODREADS author profile mentioned those books, so maybe you know them. As I was preparing for this review, I was kind of just glancing at what other people had to think of this book. I like to do that afterwards rather than before, because I'd rather just read a book on my own terms, and then maybe I can look at some reviews and see what other people think after I just finished it. But I was so blown away with how many good reviews this book had. I think it has something of like 3.5 stars on GOODREADS, and I gave it like a 2. I didn't think it was good at all. Totally not my style, and definitely not something that I would even honestly recommend. If you've seen or watched any of my book reviews before, you know that's completely not like me at all. I recommend books to anybody. Even if I don't like them, I know that there's somebody out there who might. But this one, I just couldn't fathom why somebody would like this. The synopsis of this book: it's about a man named Andrew, as you could say by Andrew's Brain, and it's essentially just a stream of consciousness while he's talking to some sort of therapist. You never exactly hear who he's talking to, or even if it's a therapist for that matter, but it's just kind of an assumption that he's giving these feelings out to someone, and you instantly go to a therapist. The reason that it's a little off-putting, especially at first, it took me so long to like wrap my head around what was going on, is because it's literally a stream of consciousness. There's no quotes, there's people talking back and forth, and there's dialogue, but there's never quotations or she said and he said to differentiate what's going on. Even as the therapist talks back to Andrew and Andrew talks to the therapist, there's no differentiation besides just new paragraphs, and sometimes you're wondering who's talking. It's also really weird because Andrew himself talks about himself as Andrew randomly from time to time. He calls himself Andrew rather than saying I, and then sometimes he says I, and it's very, very weird to know who is talking when. So Andrew in this story is a really smart cognitive scientist of some sort. He's done research, he's taught classes, he did things as a professor, he worked for a book company, he's done all those sorts of things. But some really terrible things have happened in his life, and they're really getting to him in his head, which is part of the reason that's led him down this path to do some really weird things, totally crazy, and that is what makes you think he's here talking to a therapist. Now, since Andrew's talking to this therapist, the different chapters or passages as you move along are sometimes about different things, and sometimes about the same thing but in a different order. So he'll go and talk about his fiance, his wife, his girlfriend, his relationships, and then he'll skip to his job, and then he'll skip back to a story about his wife that he was talking about earlier, and you have to piece that all together without knowing who's talking and what is going on. And then at the very end, you kind of get to the reason why he might be talking to this therapist, but it just ends. There's no conclusion. There's no even real reason why the book started in the first place. You just get this guy talking to his therapist, and then the book's over. And bye. So for my review on this book, I believe I gave it a 2 stars on Goodreads, and I will probably never be reading this again and never sharing this book with anybody or telling them to read it. If you're interested in reading complete ramblings from a guy who seems to lack maturity in all aspects of his life and who is so self-absorbed he can't understand what his therapist is trying to accomplish, then maybe this book is for you. I would, however, be interested in reading more by this author, since apparently his other books are so well loved, to see if maybe it's something that I could get a hold of or like or enjoy. As for this book, I think it's a one-off from his other books. Based on other reviews I've read, I have no knowledge of this whatsoever, but I think it's kind of a different book than his other books that he writes, so it might be interesting to see this author use his writing style and his techniques and his style in another novel. All in all, I just wanted to get that review out there for you guys today because I love sharing the books that I read with all of you. I love to hear other people talk about their books that they've been reading, so that way I can know what might interest me. Even if this didn't interest me, it might interest you. So go ahead, look it up on Goodreads. I'll have it linked down below. Read my corresponding blog post if you'd like, and see if maybe this is something you'd read, but I'm not gonna recommend it. That's all I have for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed. I'll be back here. I have no commitment to when I'm going to be posting on this channel, but I'd like to post more often, so please go ahead and also hit that bell notification so that way you guys know when I post next. If you have any book recommendations for me that you think I might like, please leave them in the comment section down below. I will be reading and responding to all comments on this video. And if you want more of me and my fiance, make sure you go check out our vlog channel as well. Now that I'm done with all those shameless plugs, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!